That was probably one of my biggest mistakes as a business owner. Hiring fast and trusting people just because you need something now. Never underestimate your intuition.
30 years of building companies leaves a particular kind of record. Not just what worked, but where expensive decisions hid. Laurent Cohen has scaled ventures across Europe, the US, and Israel, and what he's noticed is that the decisions that cost him most didn't feel reckless when he made them. They felt urgent. This is the conversation about what changes in the space between pressure and commitment, and what it costs when no one names it. Something that stood out to me, you mentioned approving hires faster than maybe normally you would, because is it fair to say momentum felt urgent? If that's the case, what made the fast feel like the right call in that moment of hiring?
We live in a strange time. We are working immensely, intensely, I would say, with voice AI. You reach a moment where it has its own limitations. And those limitations, if you want to go and break the glass ceiling, those can only happen with humans. And this is how, you have to ask yourself, if we want to sustain the growth that we're having, we're going to need to hire. So that's why it became very, very important. And also because any company today that does not put its customers front and center is not a business yet. It's building something probably, it's trying to do good, or it's doing a AI agent wrapper, thinking that it's going to be the next ChatGPT, when at the contrary, ChatGPT will erase that company because it's solely built on AI and not on humans, So if you put all those things together, you see that AI is not replacing us yet, for sure.
I always go back and forth in my mind. You hear white collar is going to go first, and then, who's going to hire blue collar when there's no money for the white collars? A lot of these companies seem to be trying to replace the humans, and your thing is it more of a compliment?
We are taking over the hardest business possible, selling to local and small businesses. You hear a lot of AI bashing, and changing habits is very tough for those people. Nevertheless, for a fact that 5 years from now, every single voicemail will be replaced by voice AI, because it's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, you have something that is obsolete, and now you have something that is wonderful. But as a company, you ask yourself, how do I get this gap, which is going from 3% of the company nowadays using voice AI to close to 100%? Well, it's not about the technology. It's about trust.
If you don't mind going back to that for a second, when you're hiring and you're making a lot of decisions as you're going, as things are growing, as customer demand's increasing, what's the first thing that you would feel in a tight decision window? What are you finding in this business that maybe didn't apply to other businesses?
As the hiring goes, now we're looking for problem solvers. We do not need anyone that has a precise skill set anymore. Agent can help you with anything. The only way that you move from learning the skill to production is by being a problem solver. So now it's very simple. When we hire, the only thing we do is we ask the person in front of us, you have a problem. This is our problem. And you have 1 hour. Find me solutions. If you can find me a solution, or at least explain me what we should do to find a solution using the tools that are available now, you have work. If you are problem solvers, you still have value in the workplace.
A lot of people I talk to, founders, leaders, I feel like there's a confusion maybe between them moving fast and thinking clearly, especially when it comes to hiring. Do you find that when it comes to in business in the past, current, whatever it might be, if you agree, confusing moving fast with thinking clearly?
That was probably one of my biggest mistakes, and I've made a lot of mistakes as a business owner. But hiring fast and trusting people just because you need something now, should never underestimate your intuition. This is what built the company, and there's a tendency as a business owner to discard intuition, because you have other people that spend your day telling you you're the great, you do the best things, you're so successful, everything works for you. And you start listening to that noise here, and you discard that intuition. This intuition is going to tell you, I need that person, or I should not take that person. Unfortunately, I've made that mistake.
Is it fair to say decision, maybe it was rushed, and then what surfaces later, maybe the cost of the decision showing up later, has that happened in this company that you're currently with now?
Not yet. We're quite a young company, and we're growing very rapidly. So as far as the hiring goes now, it changes everything dramatically. Nobody can lie to you, because you know what they're doing. So it's not like we tell anyone, use your AI, bring me a result. We tell them, this is how you should use the AI, because not only you're going to have better results, but we're going to be able to look over what you're doing exactly.
So is AI able to help you determine that, or is that more of the human connection where you're seeing this is what this person is actually bringing to the table, this is what they're relying on AI for? How are you differentiating the two?
We do not ask yet the AI to tell us what she thinks. But again, we have all those metrics now that are set up. Any company that doesn't have metrics doesn't go very far. So if you set up those things and you can measure the work they've done, you're good.
The employees that you're working with, how are they embracing this? Or is the component of this AI making for a happier employee?
One thing that is very interesting is that it has been empowering older people compared to the young guns. When you have elder people, they've been solving problems their whole life. So now, when you have elder people that are problem solvers and that are using AI, you notice that it empowers them because in some way it enhances them. You're a better worker when you use AI. You're much more productive in a shorter time. When you have an experience of not working with AI, you can feel the difference and you love it. The workplace now with AI is an opportunity for older people to get back in the workplace. Problem solving is part of experience, and experience comes very often with age.
When you're trying to manage staff, for example, and you're trying to, a great example with the elder and the young, do you have to take a tone that works well with everyone, or how do you address your staff?
That's also a big error I've made in my life. I do not do meetings anymore. I hate them. I think it's a total utter waste of time. When you get a small business, you tend to create relationship with the people that you're working with, and if they stay long enough with you, you know their family, you know what they go through. And when those things come in line, you may move to, okay, employees should be treated as family, but are not family. And that's something that, as a business owner, you can easily slide towards, and that's a huge mistake. And right now, I know how to take my distance with the people I'm working with. It's hard because you can get emotional with people you work with, but that's something that people need to stay very careful with.
You're dealing more one-on-one, or are you delegating down to
No,
other people?
one-on-one. I'm very hands-on everything I do. I've always been like that, whether I've had 10 or 50 people working for me. You create, the workplace, and I like to be hands-on the work that they're doing. And actually, they kind of know from their experience that I can probably take over anything they do in a minute. And that creates a kind of urgency. When you're one-on-one, there's no lying.
Do you ever get pushback from your employees, your staff?
Never, because they know it from day one. It doesn't come as a surprise. They understand fairly quickly that I know what I'm talking about.
When you're approaching the staff or one-on-one with people, how quickly are you talking with them? Do you do periodic check-ins, or is it just as needed?
Just as needed, but if I'm in the office, it's on a daily basis. I will be locked in on my computer for 80% of the day, and the 20% left is going and basically sending signals about what I know, what I want, and when I want it.
How approachable would it be if they wanted to come to you for something? Do they have that open channel?
Oh yeah, I've never had a door. Never. I mean, no, I'm not honest. I've had a door in my office until 1998, so it's been quite a long that I don't have a door. Doors and walls have been broken down.
People who might be older think, oh, well, I have the experience. I can come, I can bring more to the table. I know more than the boss. And on the flip side, sometimes younger people get that approach where they think they know more because, like you mentioned, they're more tech savvy as they come in. How do you weed those people out as you're hiring?
You have to, okay, I've been in the workplace for over 30 years. So again, it all comes down to intuition. I am not the kind of person that will have 3 meetings before hiring. The choice is made on the first meeting usually. So it's something I measure quite well. I've made again the mistake of not listening to my intuition. I have had companies with HR people working for me, and it's always been a nightmare for me because I'm not. Okay, let's put it this way. Uh, you have probably a lot of HR people listening to you, so I'm not going to say anything. But I'm not crazy about HR as itself. It's probably needed when you reach a certain threshold. You know, when you have 100 person, 200 people, 3,000 people, it's necessary and it's good. But on smaller company, it creates really a cluster because it extends not only to the hiring process but to the whole life flow of the company, and basically it creates hurdles and weight on the company that is totally useless. No, I'm not pro HR. 1 meeting, 1 hour, one problem.
When you do sit down with someone and you're going through the hiring process, what is your internal thought process as you're sitting down with someone? Are they coming to you typically? Are you recruiting them? How does that process work? And then how do you make those decisions in the room right away where you know they're the person?
I think my eyes, my vision is more important than my ears. You have a lot of body language that says a lot about someone. I know that people of the great quality can be nervous, and that's something I know how to go beyond that. But there's a certain adjustment that you can see that tells a lot about who the person is. I've seen hundreds of them. The gut feeling is what drives me.
So you're a big proponent of body language. Is that fair to say? So you're reading the person. How long would the average interview last when you're looking for new talent?
I take my time. 1 hour is usually the average, but I would say that within the first 15 minutes, I probably already know. The hour I'm spending is also a learning curve for me. It's an opportunity for me to meet those people. What do they want? Where do they come from? What's happening in other companies? What's the process? Why are they there? Ask those kind of questions. Why are you here? Why are you searching for work? This is where you start understanding the person you're going to work with.
And when you go through this process with them for the hour, it can't, maybe not just this company, but in companies in the past, it seemed like everything was great. But then when they started working for you, you realized it was a mistake to hire them.
Unfortunately, yes. I've I've worked in France and I've worked in the US. Just those two things need an adjustment. I like to say that in the US, when someone says no, usually means yes, and when someone says yes, it usually means no. Whereas in France, when someone says yes, usually it means yes. And the reason is very simple. Saying no to something is a way out. Okay, I'm gonna I'm going to negotiate with you now because I said no. So it's a way out. Saying yes is also a way out in America. Oh yes, you're great. We'll. So basically, they're shutting down the discussion. When they say yes, and it means usually that you're never going to get the call back. So that's what I've learned about those two cultures. So you can easily imagine that when I moved to America, thinking that a yes is a yes and a no is a no, I had to adjust myself to. But now that's a good thing. I know both ways, and that's something as far as hiring, because we're going to need to circle back to that matter. That what somebody says most of the time is not necessarily what he thinks. You need body language, or you need to read through the lines, of the resume, because resume is a bunch of words, but what's important is what's between the lines, what's missing, where are the gaps, why do you have, why is it so long? Why do you have so many skills, or why have you worked so much, or so many companies, Those are the things you need to know, not necessarily what each item is.
Could you walk us through your typical, and it's probably not a typical day, but could you walk us through your week? How much of your day is spent, I would imagine not much managing people. Is it more decision making?
You get locked in, literally. You start a day, you're launching a task, and that when you start it, you never know when it's going to end, because the AI, the agents you're working with, have all the time in the world, all the energy in the world, and they provide you with so many information and so many results that you can only go further. Used to be a day when you can only give so much as a person as your team can give. Now you have infinite possibilities. So everything gets not only faster, but higher and bigger. So you have also put yourself out of the way. You have to know when to say you stop, and now it's time to go to the team, to the people you're working with, to have this discussion. And I believe, at least for myself, this is the most difficult. Getting locked in and getting out of the zone to go back to the people you're working with. So it needs adjustment and measure in that respect.
So that would be how your typical week is set up with the company now.
On a daily basis, I have at least 2 hours available for the team I'm working with, minimum 2 hours. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I work also Saturdays and Sundays. I guess that's what it is. You also have to make sure the people you're working with are passionate with the project. This is a startup company. We're doing things that have not been done before. Not only us, by the way, all those companies that are building right now. And if the people come into your team and are not passionate with what they do, they're not going to match the energy. And you absolutely need to have people matching your energy, because you're already giving a lot, and you want people to be able to not drain you down. So you need to match the energy, but in return, as the business owner, you need to make sure that you provide the tool and the energy and the ambition that they want, so that it can follow you.
Take us to the trajectory of the company, where it is now, and what your plans are in the next 1 to 5 years.
Well, it's only been launched 7 months ago, and the need to have more people came around month 3, when we started to have amazing SEO results and started to have a visit on our directory, and people starting to engage and subscribe to our solution. So that's what changed. So now we're going to start moving internationally. And in that aspect, again, AI and the machine are not enough, because every single culture, and I know that for a fact, for the reason that I've been moving a lot, in that aspect, you need people that understand different cultures, and those people can only be from that culture usually. So if you want to work with Germany, you need to work with German people. If you want to work with Asia, you definitely need to work with Asian people, and it works from every place in the world. So I think that's what we're going to see for the next years, at least couple of years and so on, is that we're going to need to hire people from different cultures. Again, if they work remotely, that's not what I like the most. So the struggle is going to be to find people understanding different cultures, but going to work locally with us.
To have people in the office, to be in that room together. Is it the bond, or is it more of the efficiency of having, or both, when you have everyone together?
The efficiency, by far. By far. The bond in itself is a side effect of what we're building. The company has success, people are happy, it just comes with the flow. But people need to feel the energy, and the energy cannot be felt remotely.
You obviously seem like a very assertive, confident business owner. Are there times where you start to second guess your decision making, and are you making the right calls for the company?
Everybody wakes up in the morning and say, I have a great idea, right? But it's not a business yet. So after they start building a solution, I've got a great product. Well, it's not a business yet. Then they start bringing a team together. Oh, great. No, but it's not a business yet. All those moments in time that you have and you're building something, you don't have business. So the only thing you can rely on is why am I here? What am I building? And if you stay on those three phases I just mentioned and you don't have a business, I've seen people staying like that for 5 years. Oh, I'm going to adjust the product, especially now that technology moved at a pace that was precedent. So, every single morning they ask themselves, I need to update that solution. I need to use this solution. I need to hire that person. And I need to change everything. Well, no, that's exactly what you should not do. So at one point you say, I have the good people working for me. I have a product that is good enough. I have customers that I know. I'm going. And no way back. Don't look back. Never look back. You made a decision. You need to stay with those decisions and just move forward.
What would be the best place for someone to learn more about your company?
We've built our company not as a SaaS company. Thousands of people are selling voice AI today. You can just go on X or Instagram or TikTok. You will see all those kids explaining you that they have an amazing voice that sighs, that hums, that's almost sing. So they're trying to sell a very expensive product for the soul quality of the solution. We decided to take things differently. So what we did is we built a directory that as today has 1.8 million businesses listed. And we have as many voice AI deployed immediately when a business is listed, and for free. So any business can go to GetOblic.com, create their listing, and within 5 minutes, they will have an up and running voice AI on the listing page, which will in turn allow them to test the voice AI and engage with the voice AI, improve its information by editing the listing information. And now trust is being built with the potential customers, Joe. You see where we're going here. Then they can ask their customers to interact with the voice AI on the listing page. That's the second step. Now the third step is, now they're happy with the solution, they can subscribe to the upgraded solution, where they have a virtual phone line, a connection to WhatsApp, a widget on their website. And under that subscription, it allows them to use their voice AI beyond the directory itself. So as a business, go to GetOblic.com, create your page, get familiar with what we're doing here. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, you can subscribe to the solution.
And how about for you personally? Are you active on social at all, or where people could learn more about you?
Well, first of all, we have tons of social media links on our footer. So anybody that has questions, or maybe not only for our project, by the way, any question regarding hiring or regarding AI in general, I'd be more than happy to support them. So wherever you want, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, you name it.
Thank you so much for taking the time today and for being on the show.
Thank you, Joe. And I wish you the best and have a wonderful discussion.
The decisions that cost the most don't feel wrong. They feel finished. That's the part nobody talks about. Not the risk, but the speed at which something stops feeling like a question.